So far, we've covered a lot of ground about prioritizing, organizing, and simplifying your day, and being able to use those repeatable processes like the daily progress report to create that written daily plan of action so you can have a better to-do list. You can make sure you're focusing on your 5 before 11. But in this segment, we're going to be talking about tracking your daily productivity, literally keeping score of your progress. And people say, Allyson, why should I keep score? Because when I have my 5 before 11 there and I begin to mark off each task, it's amazing. Keeping score, getting those check marks, when I do something that I said I would do, it fills me with these endorphins and dopamine, and it motivates me and re-engages me in work. And I want to be able to see that. In fact, I bet a lot of you do this. If you have a to-do list, but all of a sudden you do something important, you will write it on your to-do list just so you can check it off. It's that important to us. Well, this is how we track our progress. The daily progress report allows you to create your daily written plan of action, but it also allows you to keep track of your progress. So I have a tracking system that I use personally that allows me to keep score of those things that are high value, and it makes me aware also of the activities that are low value activities. And I do that on these little lines to the left of the daily contacts. We've touched on it briefly, but I want you to be aware of this is where I keep score. So what might that look like? Each activity that I have, I've assigned a certain point value to. It's not really that it's more valuable or less valuable in my life. It's that it's high value or low value in moving me forward. So as an example, if I call my mom just to check in on her, that is very important to me. So it's not a value of important or not important. It's just talking about moving me forward towards accomplishing a goal that day. So if I call my mom, I still want to get credit for it, but I'm going to write down that it's a personal call and I get 1 point, which means I get to fill out 1 line. If I have to call the support desk because my computer has crashed, that is considered an admin call. And even though it could be incredibly important, just because I need my computer to work, I still only get 1 point. It's considered not low value in terms of getting your computer fixed, but it's low value in moving you forward. So what might be high value? If I have a meeting that we're talking about a new launch or something and it actually is productive, then what I'll do is, I'll keep track of this meeting. I'll typically say what it's about. So in this case, it's about a launch. We actually got a lot of things done. And so I'm going to rank it as 5 points. So in that case, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And what I can begin to see is if this were all I did, then that wasn't a super productive day. But the more points I get during the day, the more productive I can see. So I have a goal of getting to 25 points a day. What might that look like? Might look just like this. I call my mom, it's 1 point, and I'll label it as personal. I call the support desk, still 1 point. I have a meeting that's productive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 3 points for attempting to call a prospect. Now, I actually put prospect there so I can see what it is. And that's just if I attempt it, because I don't have any control over where I get a hold of a prospect or don't. But I do have a tracking system. If it's someone I don't get a hold of, it's there. If I do get a hold of them, it's still 3 points, but I like to see how many people I got a hold of. Now in my business, so let's say I called Jane Doe and I did not reach Jane Doe, I'd still put this, and you'll just know that you didn't reach her. If I was calling, John Doe, and I was able to reach him, I would just know that I reached him. So this would still be 3 points, and this would still be 3 points, but I can track it here. If I have a face-to-face conference with a client, so let's say that I'm meeting with, I don't know, Ann White, that's my mother, but let's say that she was a client of mine. If I was meeting with Ann White and we actually had a productive meeting, that would be an appointment, very valuable. So I use just this, I'd get 5 points for having a productive appointment. If I attend an exterior, or let's say I attend a chamber meeting where I'm making a lot of contacts and networking, or I'm at a community event, then that's important to me. So I would also get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. I even want points for doing home chores or for spending time with my family. But what I can do is I can look at these things. So just as a quick recap, if I come into the day and all I have is 3 admin calls, or at the end of the day, I'm sorry, and I look at that day, I can realize that I probably focused on low value activities. Sometimes that's all the energy I have, but when I compare that in my daily planner, when I compare that with a day where I've talked to prospects, so this is a prospect, I've actually gotten a hold of them. I've had an appointment with a very good client, so I'm getting these appointments. Let's say that I've taught a class and I've had 3 people in that class, so I'm going to get 3 points for that. If I have another prospect that I call but I don't get a hold of them, I'm still going to get credit for that, but I'll know that I did not get a hold of them. I have another meeting with the client and it's a meeting for an hour, then again, I'm going to get those appointments done. Let's say I make a personal call and another personal call, still important, but I'm not getting as many points for that. What I can see is that the more action I take, the more I'm going to get done. Now, I think I said this, my goal is to get to 25 points a day. I can quickly see it along this scale, and that's what I want to do. So for what I've done is I've created a scale that works for me. 1 point for a personal call, 1 point for an administrative call, getting my computer fixed, 5 points for a productive meeting. I get 3 points for attempting a prospecting call. I was a financial advisor for 30 years. We have a lot of mortgage lenders. We have bankers. We have a lot of stay-at-home moms, but we still have to make those phone calls. Hey, can you help me with the PTA? So I get 3 points if I reach somebody, 3 points if I don't. I get 5 points for a face-to-face conference, 5 points for attending a chamber event. If you were a stay-at-home mom, it might be that you get 5 points for attending a PTA event, 5 points for spending time with family and friends, and even 3 points for home chores. Now, this is just like writing something on your to-do list and getting that check mark. The more activity I have, the more productive I'm going to be. Now, it's not just like getting 1 check mark for each thing. In my world, I believe things that are more valuable should get more points. Things that are less valuable should get less points. It's the scale. And you can use whatever place you want to be, but I know that being on social media should be negative points. And I know that doing things like calling clients or creating a new launch or designing a new product, those things are more valuable. As you keep track of these things, the power of the check mark can be that motivating, re-engaging piece. Because once I get to 25 points for the day, whatever your schedule is and whatever your number is, yours may be at 10 points, yours may be 50, I don't know. But when I hit 25 points, at the very bottom of the daily progress report, there's a simple question that says, did I do what I said I would do today? And it's yes or no. And if I get to where I've done enough, then I get a yes. The second part of enough is that we feel so driven to do it all, which we can't do in 24 hours, that this point system gives me that freedom to say, okay, I've done enough today. I can then close up my day, the activities for the day, and move on and spend time doing things, being with my family, reading, doing those things. It's very important to have some kind of strategy that you know you get to enough and you can move on to other parts of your life. So that's what we've talked about today, is creating that daily tracking system. It's very helpful for me. I hope it's helpful for you, and we'll move on to the next section.